So recently I noticed I'm having a knock in my what seemed to be front right wheel. Upon inspection I noticed that one of the bushings is bad, and upon further inspection I noticed it's one of the bushings on my Wishbone. Upon further inspection I realized that you can't replace this bushing without replacing the actual Wishbone itself. So today this is exactly what we're doing on the E46 M3, and on that note, welcome back to Yev's Builds. As you can probably tell, we're in the midst of two projects at the same time. I'm still not done with the subframe reinforcement. I'm waiting for a few parts. Rod bearings, I am starting to do the same day I'm doing this, so I figured might as well hit 3 birds with 1 stone, dude. Let's go at it. Unfortunately, just like I said earlier, the only way to replace this bushing is to actually replace this entire Wishbone, which is annoying because it's over $400 just for this piece alone. Obviously, while we're at it, I'm going to be replacing this bushing, the piece that this piece goes into. That's the part number right there for this Wishbone, and that is the part number for this little guy right here. First things first, we're going to jack up this entire car, make sure it's secure, make sure that it's sturdy, and only after the car is secure, we are going to be taking off the undershields from this car. Let's go. So it looks like for us to take this Wishbone off, we're going to need a 16 mil. Take these 2 bolts out. There's going to be a 21 mil nut right there and an 18 mil nut right here. But in order for us to remove those nuts, we're going to need a couple Allen keys because the nuts go right around here. This is going to be the 18 mil nut. Is going to have a 5mm Allen up top, which means you're going to need an 18 mil open end wrench to unscrew this while you're holding this guy so this wouldn't spin through. And then the 21 mil nut, you're going to need a 21 mil open end wrench and a 6mm Allen right here to hold this one from the top. That way this doesn't spin through when you're unscrewing the nut. Before I take the old one off, I'm just going to prepare and put this bushing onto this guy. Take some grease, apply it all around. Luckily I had a bunch left over from my subframe bushings, so you can apply that. You can smear it all you want. You just take a look at your old one to see which way it goes in correctly. But would you look at that, it already wants to go in just like that. Very easy. And then we could adjust it later according to where it needs to be exactly. As you can tell, I have the 5mm Allen set up already into the actual bushing bolt itself and an 18mm right under it. You unscrew them counterclockwise and this bushing should be free. A little tip, if you do not have the muscles or the strength or the torque or whatever it is to unscrew or break loose that nut, what you do is you take a wrench appropriate to the nut, you can take another wrench and you wrap it just like so. That way, you now have leverage to unscrew your nut, just like that. There we go. For the center bushing right there, you put that 21mm open end wrench and a 6mm Allen key up top. Same sort of procedure, yep. There you go. There goes the 21mm nut. What we're gonna do now is actually hit the bottom of the knuckle to where the entire assembly kind of bolts into. Before we start hitting it though, you want to leave the nut that goes on the thread threaded a few times. That way, when we create that vibration for the stud to fall out, it'll fall out, but it won't completely fall out, and it's just gonna hang on by the nut, and you can remove it safely and pull it out as you need to. So let's get to it. Just like that. Next up, as you can see, this whole thing is completely loose. It is completely loose, but this bushing is still stuck in there. So what I'm gonna do, since that nut is already unscrewed, I'm gonna use the same method I've used to get this side out, meaning I'm gonna have to hit that stud up there somehow. Because I can't reach it there, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually take some sort of bar and smack the actual stud. Since I'm replacing this, I don't care about the threads on this or anything like that, so I'm gonna smack it a couple times and hopefully that'll get this thing out. There we go. Another one out, dude. To put this one on, once that one is removed, the new one is quite simple. You have to make sure that this piece right here, this bushing, goes down far enough to where it's actually gonna line up with all the holes. If you don't make it go far enough, you're gonna have a real hard time making everything align. But it's not too difficult. Boom, put that one in, put the one that's through the subframe in, put that nut back on, that way it doesn't actually fall off. There we go, the nut is on. Push this one as far as you can, put the nut over it, the one that goes through the subframe. There we go. And then these guys are quite easy as well. If it's all good and lined up, then you shouldn't have a problem. This one is in, this this one's about to be. There we go. That is all in. You take your 16 mil and you start torquing these guys down. One at a time, just to make sure that it's going in nice and even. That is torqued. And that one is torqued also. When you're gonna be torquing this nut down, that's an 18 mil. You're gonna put a 5 mil Allen through it, and that way you can torque it down. The bushing that goes through the subframe is gonna be a 21 mil nut, and you're gonna have to use a 6 mil Allen from the top of it. That way you can actually torque everything down, and that is gonna be pretty much it. Well, there you got it. After everything is torqued down, this is literally how you replace a wishbone on these. And while I was doing this, I realized that the other side also had a bad bushing, so I replaced this one also. It's the exact same procedure except minus this sensor right here. Remember to put the sensor back in. It's a 10 mil nut right there. Screw it back into the bracket. Clip this little thing in, and you are solid. Well, that's gonna do it for this video. Now go out there and drive and enjoy your new suspension without any sort of knocking. Make sure to like and subscribe because that stuff really helps. I'm just saying, if you're not aware, I am building a V10 M3. I already got a shell for it, so just stay tuned. I'm just saying, stay tuned if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Here's the engine, all covered up and almost ready to go inside the shell. So, appreciate you. Peace out.